Come forward a little. Huss. Greetings. Hello.
Us.
Ben's here. For those who don't know Ben Ajamian, third Dan. He's has been training with me since he was a young lad. Paul Knip, Huss. Rainy Leipzig. It's been really beautiful weather here, but it was so cold last night. I slept in the TV room with a heater on. Huss, Frederick from Sweden. Huss, good to see you. Rainy there too. Sounds like the rain's moved from Western Australia all the way to Europe. Torbjörn, I suppose it's raining where you are too. Is it Torbjörn? I wrote an L. I wrote Torbjörn. Sorry. Huss Gaza from down the hill. Thanks for coming, guys. So Ben's here today. Ben's been training with me since he was a young lad. Huss Rud, York also. Rud from Hiroshima. Rob D'Souza from Tasmania. So we've got Tassie all the way up to Sweden, Norway, Germany, 11 p.m. Is that normally it's 10 p.m., right, Rochelle? When you key in. So for the boys over at I'll just cancel that. For the boys over in Northern Europe, I guess it's just morning. JP, oh look, JP.
Us.
Good to see you, man. Us 25 and bright. Stop showing off Chrissy Dunn up at the Barrier Reef. Raining a lot. Well, there you go. Look, Mike's weather from Western Australia has moved to Europe by the sounds of things. Us Clarence from South Africa. Good to see you, man. So Ben's been training with him since he was a young lad. And if I had a photo, I could show you. But in the dojo, we've got a wall, a bank of trophies for all the years, and about 2 of them are mine, and the rest of them are Ben's. So Ben's been competing in all kinds of competition ever since he was a little lad, and he's had some outstanding successes, including Australian Kyokushin Championships, open ones as well. So it's great to have him here. And what we wanted to do was run through the first of all, the survival shapes, the defensive shapes for stand-up fighting. Then we'll look at the fundamental range 4 survival shapes. Us Al, Kath, Us Ron. You change your name from Ron to Kath. Damien, Us. Al Bellamy's one of our lads, so he'll be familiar with what we're doing here. But of course, we have the K350 and the 7 stages of Kumite, which we've worked on, and the defensive and survival shapes, step 3. Okay, so you've got your default position, okay, with your head and shape, and then you've got your gaze and your footwork, and then when you get your gaze and footwork correct, then you move on to the next level, which is just learning fundamental defense. Now, how many techniques are there? Gosh, thousands. But I guarantee if you were to look at, say, the World Championship, Daniel, good to see you, man. If you look at the World Championship, one of the World Championships that goes for, say, 3 days, I just noticed I'm on 5G. Even as I talk, I'm going to do a speed test and make sure this just isn't going to debilitate us as normal. Keep my fingers crossed. But that didn't work, did it?
No, it actually
It populated.
auto-populated spiritual.
There you go. I'm just going to do a quick speed test while we're talking to make sure that it's not too slow, because I'm a little further away from the and if there's a slight interruption at some stage, I'm going to I'll reconnect again, but I'm just testing. See, I'm on 5G, and I'm more concerned about the upload. Oh, the upload's not too bad. So look, I'll stick here. If we have a problem, could you let me know? Now that the rain stopped for you, Mike, maybe you'll get better feedback, better reception. Okay, so we're going to run through the basic shapes, defensive shapes. Then we're going to move in to the ranges. We're going to move into elbow range, headbutt range. Then we're going to move in further to stand-up grapple, how we defend against the fundamental key defenses. Oh, good. Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Gaz. So when I say that is, look, guys spend their entire life. My wrestling coach, Rico Ciparelli, said the reason that Olympic gold medalists in general have been wrestling since they were 5 was because that's how many basic techniques they have to learn before they get to the Olympics. Okay, so please don't imagine that what I'm trying to tell you here is I have the solution to everything. We don't. All we're trying to do is give you a body of knowledge that you as a stand-up fighter can use to transition into the closer ranges, or if those ranges are brought to you, you have a fundamental way to deal with them. Okay? Now, learning by osmosis has never worked. So what you're going to have to do is use your logbook. If you haven't got it, get it. Oh, I spoke to Torbjörn, and I checked Sweden too. So it looks like I'll be able to send to Sweden, as you mentioned. Savitri, Herman, I didn't see your name there. Thanks for popping in. But anyway, Frederick, as you mentioned, it looks like I may be able to send to Sweden, and then maybe you can work something out with the lads in Norway and get them over there for them. Okay. So anyway, we're going to start off first of all looking at the first few steps of the 7 stages of Kumite. Budi from Indonesia, Frederick. Yeah, look, I'll be in touch with you, Frederick, real soon. Let's go straight into it because we've got a lot to cover today. And if we don't get cracking, we're going to run out of time.
Of course.
So I'm going to adjust this computer as we go. Just stand there, Ben. Just look. That light's not on.
Might be. I'm just short, dark, and handsome. So.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Okay, working. Oh, there we go. Okay, beautiful. So first of all, what we're doing is we're looking at the 7 stages of Kumite. So I'm going to get Ben to shape everything for me. So first of all, the fundamentals are we need our knees bent. We need basically a normal walking gait. Bang, so turn around, just 2 steps back. Okay, so we go 1, 2, and then there's your normal walking gait. That's the length of your fighting stance. Okay, anything else is a transition.
Of course.
Knees are bent, back heel off the ground. Why is the back heel off the ground? Because if you have 2 heels on the ground, you have no explosiveness.
Of course.
Okay. The elbows are forward. It's not about to face the front. It's not about where your hands are, because you can have your hands up and your elbows out, and that won't help you at all. So you need your elbows forward and in. See that? So really you want the elbows in the outside of the body. And if you get that right, your hands will be in position. We have what we call under the bridge. We're actually looking under the bridge. You're looking under the bridge. Okay, so it's like this. So to develop students, get them with the habits, we come forward. I'll do it sideways, Ben do it front. We come forward with the hands, and then we leave the elbows in, and the hands come back, and then we're looking under the bridge. Okay, now, like all basics, when you relax that, you keep the fun, but you relax your shape, and so I like to have my thumb on my cheekbone here. See that? And that way, that's a good way to make sure your hands are up. All right, so we have 8 fundamental punches or hand techniques and 8 fundamental kicks. So first we've got the lead hand, the left jab, or the right jab if you're a southpaw. So the front hand, that's why I just call it the front hand rather than the left jab. So you've got the left jab, the left hook, bang. Notice Ben turns his hand down. You can have it up if you want. Having worked with boxers, some prefer this. I actually prefer that if your hand's in a glove. But if you pair fists, protect the little finger and bring it down, and it just exposes your seiken better. Okay? You've got the uppercut, left hand, uppercut, right hand. You've got the rip, bang. So far that's 4 techniques. Okay, so for the rip, we like to do it like this. Here, I'll throw the right cross, and he'll try to put his shoulder on my elbow. Boom, see that? That's the first move. I'll throw straight to there. You don't have to move too far. The problem is when the punch comes, people go, whoa, and they fear it. They get too far away. All you need to do is move to here so you actually feel their arm on your ear.
Of course.
In Ben's case, his hair is so wiry that it will scratch you. Okay? But I get here. So I want my elbow forward. I'm like that statue of the discus thrower with my knees bent, and then I unwind for the rip. Okay? So that's the rip. Bang. Okay, then the right hand is the backhand straight. Boom. The overhand backhand there, which is, I was talking to Solsai's nephew. Professor Choi is a professor, well-known professor in Korea of physics. I mentioned him in my rewrite of the book. And the exciting news about the Budo Karate too is that I literally finished the final changes this morning. So it's in the hands of, it started bit by bit to be in the hands of the graphic designer who's preparing it for printing. And I'm in the process of adding a few illustrations. The crazy thing is when I wrote that book in '87, I was young. I was in my 20s. So I had no eye problems. Now that I'm in my 60s, I'm literally having trouble seeing the paper to draw these sketches. So if they're a bit messed up, no comments from the gallery. Thanks. But anyway, yeah, that's exciting news. And whilst I'm here, don't forget, Patreon team, thank you very much. It's really, really exciting to me that I have people all over the world who are so supportive with the Patreon that is allowing me to do what I'm doing right now. If it wasn't for that, I'd be out working at a cafe somewhere trying to
make the best coffee you ever had.
Yeah, come to terms with what I'm doing in a cafe, serving people coffee. So thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, do so. Hit the subscription button and the little notification bell. That's the 1, 2, subscribe, notification. The other 1, 2 is like and leave a comment. That'd be great if you could do that. And also, of course, share. So that's exciting news about the book. And I've put it in the hands of 2 people. Ben's getting a copy today to proofread and have a look. And the feedback so far is really exciting. One of them is our buddy Mitch. Mitch read it. He said as soon as he finished it, he wanted to read it. He picked it up and started to read it again. He just loved it so much. So that's exciting feedback for me. Us, Paddy, good to see you, man. Okay, so you can see that when we're doing the overhand right, Professor Choi, Solsai's nephew, said that's the most powerful punch if you get the technique right, because not only do you have the centrifugal force, you have the rotational force, you have gravity as well. So that's working all of it. And then you have the kagi ski, which is the right side backhand hook, very different to a liver shot. It's actually using a different technique altogether. And then you have the elbow. Elbow 1, and then the front hand, elbow 2. Okay, they're the hand shots. All right, now the kicks. See if I can remember the kicks. I've got a front kick. It's a front snap kick. It's also a push kick, so maybe from the side. So doing a front snap kick, boom, and then the push kick. And that push kick can be used in different places like this. So I'm coming in, just reading my shoulders. We spend a lot of time in the dojo just watching shoulders. And he notices my shoulder turn. As I come in his back kick, he blocks it with a push kick. Okay? From there, then he's got roundhouse to the leg, boom, roundhouse to the body, and roundhouse to the head. Boom. The 3 roundhouses I separate into 3 techniques because the range and the setup are completely different. Okay, from there he has the back kick straight. Boom. He has the spin back kick. Boom. Ben's very self-conscious at the moment.
I'm freaking out.
He's freaking out because we haven't warmed up. We just came straight here and started. This will teach him, he tears a muscle. I told you to warm up. Okay, and then we've got the knee kick. Okay, boom. So the knee kick works, of course, with a push knee kick, but it also works with the idea you drop the head down and then you come straight up. That's a very successful kick as well, especially when you come in here and you follow the hand, you follow the hand by using the gi behind it. So 1, 2, and you bring the knee up underneath the hand and you can catch them by surprise. Okay, and then the last one is the axe kick. Boom. Not that you have to use it. Remember, these 8 techniques, 8 kicks and 8 punches may not be what you even use. But what they are is if you were to take one of the world tournaments over 3 days, 200 plus fights, and you analyze the techniques that are used, and I guarantee that predominantly you'll find the techniques used within these 8 punches and 8 kicks. So it's an 80-20 thing. No worries, Al. We'll see you training tonight anyway. What's Leo? So there you go. We've got it, everyone. We've got Leo's in South America, Michelle's in North America, Clarence in South Africa, Frederick, Paul, and Torbjörn in Europe, Budi in Indonesia. Normally we have someone else from India, and I didn't see names. Maybe they're there, India, and is it wrong that my 7 steps to Kumite now include denial and acceptance? Very funny guy. That's my nephew, Chris. Yeah. Okay. So now we have to look at, and we're rushing through this because we have so much I want to cover, and I hope you get something out of it. Okay. Sekai Geiko. Yeah, that's it. World training. Exactly. Okay. So we need to cover the defensive shapes. All right. So first step of 7-stage Kumite is your default position and your gaze. Okay. The second stage of the 7 steps is your footwork, fundamental footwork, and head movement. What do I mean by head movement? I don't necessarily mean the moving like a boxer. I mean your dominant head position. So what that means is, as he moves, I don't just move my head like that, because even though I'm looking at him, he now has dominant head position on me. I don't have it on him. So he is completely dominant in this situation, even though my brain, I have matched him completely. I haven't matched him at all. What I need to do is, as your opponent moves, I need to make that micro adjustment. Rod will recognize this because this was taught to me by Marvin Cook, the boxing coach. Okay, so they're like that. As he moves, I'm keeping in my crosshairs. You know, when you're shooting and you see the deer, and you look through the sight and you think there's nothing there today, and over here there's 50 deer, and over there there's 50 more deer, and you don't see it because you haven't moved your crosshairs. Okay, so I have to keep my crosshairs on his center line all the time. So as he moves, I'm making fine adjustments constantly. I never just move my head. If he moves, I have to move my whole body to maintain dominant head position. Awesome. Then we have the defensive shapes. Generally, there's 2 ways to look at defensive shapes. There's movement to avoid the power, and there's technique to block the power. The word block is never really good. In Japanese, you don't use the word block. Uke. Jodan uke. Chudan soto uke. Chudan uchi uke. Uke means to receive. Okay? When you receive someone. Yeah. Good metaphor. Okay, so I have to remember that it's not about blocking. It's about receiving. Okay, so as he throws the left jab, I'm moving there. It may be just that. I come in, move there. And what you do is determined by your physicality and your age and so on. Awesome. So obviously, I'll be like Prince Nazim, where I'm just going, boop, 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 boop. You can't hit me, okay, because I'd last about 2 punches. So my objective at my age is to cover, move in, and close the gap. And if I can, I'm going to take it down and get them on the ground in a heavy way on a cement surface and hopefully walk away unscathed. Okay? So I can't afford to be here moving like this. I won't last 6 seconds. Okay? And Ben's going at about 1/10 of his normal speed. So there, bang. That's what I'm doing, moving in there. If I'm not doing that, I'm tapping down. Tapping down. Moving in. Do I want to move out? Do I want to move in? Am I a kicker? So as he throws that punches, I'm moving out and I'm throwing the kick. As he throws that punch, I'm catching him with the kicks. Okay, am I a kicker? Which means I move from range 4 to range. Us, Ketzi. That's Ketzi now. Us, Steve. Us. Am I in range 4 moving back to range 5? Or am I in range 4 moving in? Boom, elbow, headbutt, stand-up grapple. Is that what I'm doing to take them to the ground into range 4 into range 5? Awesome. Okay? The right cross is the same. I'm moving in. They're like that. Boom. If I'm not quick enough, I'm going to cover. And I have to cover strong. It's enke yatsuki. Okay, it's mawashi uke. It's shito mawashi uke. I'm covering this danger part of my head. Okay, boom. Then like that, we call it Elvis Party's head. Boom. The hand is high on the head, no holes. I'm sure I can't see when I'm doing it. There's not a lot of holes there. So when I'm caught off guard against the right, I'm going to cover. I once got into a situation. Don't you love these little stories? I was at my mate's benefit concert for Amnesty International. I was just there having fun. This is at UQ, by the way, cats. And these 5 guys walked in belligerent, drunk. And my buddy Johnny's walked over and said, "Can you do me a favor and have a word with those guys?" I wasn't even working. I wasn't, but he knew that that's what I did on other nights. I went and had a word with these guys, expecting to go, yeah, you know, okay, we'll go and pay our $5 to get in. It wasn't like it was $50. Yeah, okay, well, that was what I was expecting. But instead, he stood up and he's like towered over me like that. And he's gone, "Who are you to tell me what to do, shorty?" And I was expecting nothing. Good lesson. And he's gone, whoosh, he threw a punch. All I had time to do was go, boom. And he's gone, oh. He hurt his hand because he didn't know how to throw a fist.
Oh, shouldn't have thought short either.
Yeah. The 2 best street fights I've ever had didn't throw a punch.
Oh.
They hurt themselves hitting the things.
Oh.
One was a car and one was my forehead. Okay, so there's the right cross. So what am I doing? I'm slapping down. I'm moving away. If I'm moving into range 4, it comes in, boom. I'm countering with the leg kick in range 5. Or I'm moving into range 3. Okay, here, the rip is actually a range 3 technique. Okay, I can even move in here with a forearm, an upper block, which becomes a blow. Okay, here like that. Or if I haven't got time, I'm going to cover. Okay, like that. Uppercuts, generally speaking, you'll see a lot of uppercuts miss because guys learn to do it like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was taught to do it at 45. Okay, so when Ben throws the uppercut, if I don't move back significantly, I'm going to get caught. So that's why when you cover from the uppercut, you catch your hand here. Your hand is underneath. Notice my shoulders protecting my jaw. Like that, you have to make sure everything's covered. Clarence or Shion, I hope I don't disturb your chain of thought again, but all these ranges you only have to employ once. You lost the initiative in a real situation. What is your view on preemptive striking? Preemptive striking, you know, there's the old famous karate saying, there is karate ni sente nashi. There is no initial attack in karate. People mistake that. I wrote about that in my book because sente, which means sen as in sensei, for, and first punch. But it doesn't just mean that. It also means taking the initiative. So that phrase is used in Japanese, just like they say shinken shobu, a real fight, actually literally means a sword fight, a fight with live blades. Well, it's the same with karate ni sente initiative. So also I said karate ni sente ari, shikashi shito nashi. So sente ari means, yes, there is the initiative. In other words, yeah, you do preemptive strike, but shito is selfishness or personal gain. You don't do it out of personal gain or for the wrong motive, okay? Sen no sen, that's it, exactly. Okay, so yes, there's always preemptive. But here's the thing, Clarence, my concept of preemptive, you haven't moved into self-defense yet. What you are, you're still in the realm of self-protection. What's the difference? Well, self-protection is the soft skills you use until the punch is thrown. So you walk in the club, you see those guys are aggressive, you stay away from there or you don't even go in. You case the joint, you know where the exits are. You see potential problem spots. Okay, when you drive, you make sure you got plenty of petrol in your car. This is what Nick Hughes' book is, How to Be Your Own Bodyguard, is a ripper for that. Okay, so when you park in a lighted area. You don't park way up in the corner. Some people park the car way up in the corner so no one bumps the Duco in the car and then they get mugged. Okay, park your car, be in crowds. Don't, you know, all that stuff is the soft skills, the self-protection. And preemptive punching, to me, preemptive punching is having noticed that the problem is about to arise and don't even go there first. That's the best preemptive punch you can ever do, is not even bring yourself to the attention of the guy that wants to punch. There you go. Yes, I think that's really important. And when I said I just finished the last bit of the book, the section of the book I wrote this morning, I think you'll really enjoy, but it's actually talking about that kind of thing. What is the balance? How do you be this lion? Because I was quoting a line out of the Young Lions Dormitory Oath, okay? And I was referring to that about Solsai. And Solsai used to sign his name with that thing after his name. If I had my iPad, I didn't bring my iPad. Can't show it to you. But anyway, I've shown it to you before. If I could show that to you, where he wrote the kanji after his name, and he wrote it in the shape of a flower, but what it meant was lion. And what he said is you have to be as strong as a lion with yourself, but as gentle as a flower with others. And he used to say, and sometimes you've got to be like a lion to other people to give them an opportunity to experience the flower that you really are. That's very interesting. Yeah, I love that. And I think that's very, very valid.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. So we're talking about uppercuts here. I can stay in, but I want to make sure my hands covering. They're like that. Okay, if I'm here like that, I don't know if it's a jab or a punch. It's a boom, so I have to move off, or I have to move back into range 5 and throw the kick.
Awesome.
Okay, the kagi ski is the rip to the body. Again, if my elbows are in the right position, I'm going to be safe. But if there is half an inch, if you've ever seen a good body puncher in boxing, all it takes is like a quarter of an inch, half a centimetre, they'll find the space.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's why it's very important that when you do that, I don't just, we move back a bit, I've moved this. Watch what I do with my legs. I don't just block with my body, because he throws one to the body, throws another to the body, and then bang, he sees I drop him a hand and throw it to the head. So I need to make sure to a degree I cover. So what I need to do is tilt. See this tilt position there, like that. So I literally, if you could see the angle of the belt, I may exaggerate it now, but it's not that much of an exaggeration. So I need to bring that tilt up there so that when he throws it, whether it's a punch or a back kick or whatever, my elbow and my hip bone are connected. But I can't do that by doing that, because now I'm over here. So we practice it with the view of keeping my hand on my forehead, so it's in Cox cone, so that I can still keep my elbow and hip bone together with my hand on my forehead to create that frame. Okay. Elbows are headbutt range. So all it takes is a slight adjustment to move out of range. But if he's a good elbow striker, I mentioned Nathan Corbett last session, he's knocked more guys out with elbows than anyone in the world, I'm sure. He's one of the best Muay Thai champions in the world, who just happened to have a really good karate background. Okay, so for elbows, I need to make sure my hand's high. So the golden rules are headbutts. What are the headbutt rules? I need to have my head lower than his head and close to his body to prevent the headbutt. With the elbow, I need to have my hand higher than his elbow and ready to close into the body. Awesome. So that's the difference. So for elbows, boom, here's a good drill that we do. He throws the elbow, boom, I catch it. Then my hand just chops down. I grab him on the neck, I throw the elbow, he catches it. And you start to build up to total power and non-compliance. I find I've turned my arm over. You'll notice that if I hit here, it's bone on bone, you're going to get hurt. If they don't block it, it's bone on bone, they're going to get hurt. But for the drill, watch my hand. I turn it over, so now I hit with the beefy part. Okay, when you start to go hard, then he comes, catches, boom. I get my hand into Cox cone. Reach out. 1, 2. Look at my hand, it comes up. There. He reaches, 1, 2. By having my hand up on the strike, I don't have to think about it. That's the defensive shape. We may know how to block the elbow, but if our defensive shape is here, it's a matter of timing. Whereas if my defensive shape for the elbow is already there, then I'm going to get it. Even if you don't see it. I don't see it, boom. My eyes are closed, I feel it. My eyes are still closed, I can feel it. My eyes are still closed, I can feel it. If my defensive shapes are sound, this is what I mean by the defensive shapes, having all the body parts in the right place at the right time. Okay? Kicks. So he throws a front kick. Boom. Again, coxcomb. I can't trust the fact that his front kicks. You fight. You look at guys like Filio, Adamir Costa, my favourite fighter in history. Albe too. Norichika Tsukamoto, even Gary O'Neill, even Wally, all these, even Ben. If you drop this backhand, even that far, you'll get knocked out. It's that simple. Okay, so they throw the front kick. I have to make sure I'm here. They're like that. If I move off to the side, I have to have crosshairs, dominant position. So when we practice this in the dojo, we're now north-south. He throws the kick, boom, I move it, and I come back to here. Well, what's that doing? It's creating a bad habit of me returning to his dead zone. So we never do that in the dojo. What we do is we'll move off. And now I force him to change angles. We move, he throws the kick, boom, I move off again. And I'm constantly, I finish the technique out of the zone and preferably, boom, with a finish or a couple of punches to the face, even if I don't hit him.
Awesome.
Just to give you something to think about.
Awesome.
Okay? That's the front kick. The push kick, I must admit, there's not a whole lot you can do because it's a well-timed, deceptive kick. It's not, but again, with the push kick, I can just sweep it away with a get unbutton.
Awesome.
Move off like that. Leg kicks, we check. Let's go 45. Leg kicks, we have to check the leg. Outside there, inside here, the knee alignment. If we have time later, I see that's lagging a bit, is it? Is it lagging okay, or is it okay so far? Good on you, Big G. So we have to make sure that we align the knee correctly. And this is really, really important to do when you're holding pads too, to teach people not bad. Bit of a lag. Okay, as long as it's not too bad. If it is, I can change to the other way.
I'll try and slow down.
Yeah, the problem is Ben. See, when Ben kicks that fast, he creates a ripple in the electromagnetic field. And it screws up my internet every time. Okay. So the thigh kick, again, remember I said he throws a left jab. I'm going to palm it, or I'm going to dodge it. Okay, same left jab, thigh kick. I'm going to check it, or I'm going to move and come back. So the way we look at it is my distance control is about only my front leg being available. If he can kick my back leg, I'm too close. Okay, and if he's moved, I haven't adjusted the distance, and I haven't adjusted the angle. So I'm here, he goes for that back leg. So that's fine. The front leg, as long as I'm moving in a way that checks it. But if he goes for the back leg, I have to constantly be moving out of range. Because if I'm so close he can get it, my distance is wrong. So I make available the front leg. It's like chess. I wave the bishop over here for him to take. He takes that, and I move into checkmate. Okay, so my leg is there. I move back and kick. Okay, maybe it's a front inside. Boom. There, that's what I'm doing. So watch. The outside or the inside. 1, 2. Okay, so now he does either of those. Boom, move back and kick. Or boom, move back and kick. Okay, that's the leg kick. The body kick is the same. I can either block it with a roundhouse kick. There's 3 ways I like to block it. Depends what your intention is. If it's 1, you want to counter with a kick, then you maintain the range 1. Okay? If it's range 1 into range 2, where you want to move into punch range, so first of all, I want to maintain the kick. 1, so I can maintain the kick range, or 1, maintain kick range. Now I want to move in. So I jab it, bang. Okay, so I use that. Look at my body. Slow, I turn. See? I ride the kick, bang, and then I come back with the right cross. There like that, or into the body, like that. Okay? On the front side, same thing. Boom. There's the jam. Okay? Boom, bang, bang. Or move out of range to throw the counter kick. Okay? Head kick. Again, I either get out of the range or I block it. Boom, I block it with the coxcomb. or I move off, fade off. Okay. Notice I bring my shoulder up and cover with the NK ski because people like Glaude, Filio, the South American style of kicking, their kick just keeps coming and coming. Even Gary was like that. There's a great picture of him in a tournament in Japan where he's literally this far away. We counted it was 3.5 meters away, and he knocks the guy out with a kick just because of his hip extension. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, Ushirogeri. So once again, Ushirogeri. If I get caught, bang! I'm just going to jam it right here. I'm like this. He's too quick. I'm burying my elbow on my hip bone, and I'm burying my head like that. Okay. If it comes the other way, same thing. It's a lot easier because my hip is already forward. For the back one, I have to roll my hip. If I bury it here, he'll still get me. Boom! Like that. So what I do is I roll to bring my elbow between the target and his kick. The other thing you do is this, and Chris Dunn, my nephew who's watching there, he's real good at this, and he's worked with the boys at the dojo to teach them a lot of this. But now what I'm doing is I'm watching the movement of the shoulder. So now all I do is once I time that shot, I didn't show you the other roundhouse kick thing too. But look, I'm moving that way. Okay, so what you can do there, depends on what you do, boom, and then I can go sweep, I'm not doing it, but boom, sweep on the ground like that. You've got to watch that elbow. See this elbow? Bang, watch out for that. I refereed a guy once who was just dynamite at that stuff. So I move my head to the shoulder, and then from there I can sweep like that. That works very well as well. Or jamming it with my own back kick. You wouldn't expect that. Got him. Finally, I've been trying to get him for 15 years. Okay, what do we got here? That was it, Ben, the time, Ben. Yeah. Strong key, Ben. Yep. Good on you. His key extends to all continents except Antarctica. Okay, so you've got that stomp, the push kick, the back kick as well. For the body kick too, I forgot to mention, it throws the body more option. I can capture it like this. Catch it on your lat. Okay, the hand comes up, and then you can step through with the sweep like that. Okay, and take them down that way as well. There's also throws you can do there too. This sort of throw here. Boom. And now what I'm doing is hooking my hand on his calf and then rolling. And that helps to take him down as well, like that. Okay, that's another good technique. Axe kick or knee kick. For the knee kick, remember I need to kick my arm and my head because against the Glaube. And of course, remember what I'm saying is I'm old and grey in my eyes at him. I'm not trying to pretend that I have all the answers. What I'm giving you is a fundamental 80-20. So at least if you have these core defensive shapes, you'll be miles ahead of the pack. Okay? But there's always going to be people who specialise. And Glaube knocks the best in the world out of his knee kick, and at 6'6" he can get away with it. Okay? But generally speaking, you'll make it harder for them if you frame and frame. Okay, there, like that. I'm here, boom. He's bringing it high, boom. I'm bringing it here. Now, what am I doing? Am I moving out of range? Boom. So I can come back, or am I moving in range? And I'm going to take it down like that. Okay? So sometimes when they get your head, like they do in glove sports, and they start to hit the knees, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the timing, and as the knee comes, boom. Yeah, see, like this. So I can't pull the head out very well. He's jamming me down for the knee. Boom. I'm going to time it there, capture it, and then come up and sweep with the knee bump. Okay, that's the knee. That's about it, I think. Okay, so give us your viewpoint on that. These are the fundamental techniques. We're doing an 80-20 when you think about it. Pankar from India, there we go. We've got it all covered now. Got the whole world covered, except for Antarctica. And I'm trying to convince one of my students to move down there and open a dojo. I'm having a bit of trouble. But anyway. Look, that's the stand-up fundamental shapes. It's an 80-20 thing. 20% of what you do gives you 80% of the results. And if you analyze it, we have 30 basics, 20, 22 kata. If you add in the moving basics and the combinations, you've got about 250, 300 techniques. Well, you take 20% of that and you're down to about 50 or 60 techniques. Okay, and this is the start of it. 8 hands, 8 kicks, the 16 defensive shapes against those as well. Okay, and then the permutations off that. Okay, so that's the stand-up area. That's range 1, 2, 3, essentially. We need to look at urgently, as Kyokushin fighters, we need to look at range 4 and 5 because that's where you're going to get caught. Okay. Now remember that there are guys out there whose whole world is range 4 and 5, and they compete against other guys whose whole world is range 4 and 5, and they shut them down and compete and defeat them with consummate ease. That's a bit of a cliche, but anyway, it'll work. You know, guys like Roger Gracie, who's won so many world titles based on one position and one technique. Well, to be able to do that, he has a broadness of technique and the depth of skill. You can be. The thing with grappling is you need that breadth, okay? But you really, really need the depth. So if you only have, say, 1 or 2 deep techniques, that's okay, as long as your defensive breadth is sufficient. Now, we work on a series of fundamental positions that you may find yourself in. All right, now with the stand-up range 4, we'll cover that first. I hope I'm not going too quick, but we are racing against time here. Okay, just briefly go through it, and I'll be doing videos. Ben and I are setting up the membership website. We're doing it together, and we'll be covering every single one of these techniques in separate videos. Okay, but today I just wanted to give you a fundamental of what we're doing here so that you get an idea at least. Okay, so in the stand-up for the grapple, we start off, probably get a little closer. We start off with the hand wrestling, in Japanese, gyakute. People never really worked out what gyakute means because when you translate it literally means hand hold reversals or hand reversal or reversing hand. And so that gets lost in translation. But the reality is gyakute is simply reversing the grip. He has me on the grip. I reverse it. I have it on the grip. Go real slow so people see. He has me on the grip. I don't just break out of it. I reverse it. So now I have him on the grip. A fundamental key. I'm much better off having 2 hands on his 1 than 1 hand on his 1 or 2 hands on his 2. Okay, I need to focus on 2 hands down, 2 hands up, or wrist, elbow control. Can you see that position? There or there. Okay, if I can get this position, it's a very strong control position. Okay, and the whole game is he's working to get my grips. Even in judo, you watch them, they come in, they'll bow and they'll come in, they're doing this. They're protecting their grips because the one who wins the grip game is the one who wins the battle. It's that simple. You watch them, you watch the top Japanese throwers, they'll come in, they'll come in, they'll come in, they'll come in, and they'll work, and they'll get their grip and bang. Within a second or 2, it's all over. So the one who wins the grip game in the stand-up range 4 is the one who wins the game. It's that simple. So we have to work on making sure we have a fundamental idea, not only of how to break the grips, but the grips we want to chase. Elbow wrist control, 2 on 1 down, 2 on 1 up. Okay, sometimes 2 here is good because we use this movement. There. So he comes in, boom, I break them away there, and then I come in this way. Okay, so I break, elbow, head, and drop for a single or a double. Okay, we're still in the stand-up. I'm grabbing, he counters, gyakute. I'm reversing the grip, gyakute. I'm reversing the hold. He reverses, I reverse. He reverses, I reverse. And you constantly, yes. Then we move in a little more. So that's the reverse hand. Now we move into underhooks. So if I can get the underhook here, I have a dominant position. combined with two things that are very important for the underhook. One, dominant head position. My underhook is no good if he has dominant head position on me. Boom. Now my underhook doesn't work anymore. So I have to make sure I combine the underhook with my dominant head. It doesn't mean I'm pushing into him. It means I have the correct shape. Here we both kind of have dominant head, except I have the underhook, so I'm winning. Yes. If I want to get under, I come under there. We play this game in the dojo. We put our hands behind our back, and we're just looking for dominant head. If he gets dominant head, I have to change. I come in there, he comes there. Boom. I come in. And we're constantly looking to get our head in that pocket. Yes. There like that. If I get there, he comes down and under, and he changes position. If he gets there, I'm going to come down and under and reshape. And you can combine that with the underhooks and the collar ties and everything. Yes. Okay, so underhook here.
Just fix my hair for a second.
Won't help, Ben. You don't have much. Okay, look, underhook, two things are dependent. First of all is a dominant head position. Second is a heavy elbow. So if I have the underhook but there's no heavy elbow, he can move out of it. But if I have the underhook and I have a heavy elbow, I control his position. I can even start to dirty box like this, which was a specialty of Randy. And he finally work out that he needs to get out of that, start to turn in on me. Boom, and I'd switch sides. And now I'm doing the other side. Boom, boom. I used to do this with Randy. He taught me this. Bang, bang, bang. They turn in. You switch underhooks, come to the other side. Bang, bang, boom. He turn in again. Boom. You work this game. You're going from one side to the other. Okay, collar ties. What's a collar tie? Once again, same thing. The collar tie is like a swan swimming across the water. It's all dependent not on the grip so much as the heavy elbow. So if he goes light on the elbow, has the grip, he has nothing. If he goes heavy on the elbow, has the grip, now he's starting to compromise my balance. And he's looking for that because what he's trying to do is get a reaction. It's like chess. He doesn't move that pawn because it's important. He moves that pawn because it exposes the diagonal for the bishop to take the queen. So he's trying to get a response. Three things will happen. I'll either get too weak and go down, in which case he just snaps me down. He goes all the way to the ground. Okay, let me do it to you. So there. If he goes too low, I'm literally just going to step down and take him to the ground. Or he does it to me and I come too high, in which case I've exposed my legs. Or I maintain a solid position and I have to try and re-counter. So he gets collar tied, I come in there. He regains collar tie, switches sides, I'll come in there. He'll gain again, collar tie, we'll take it off. Turn behind. He puts the collar tie on. Look, arm here, and shoulder. And I look behind. And I capture the arm in the two on. Okay, he limps his arm out of that, comes back with another collar tie. I have to come in this time. He switches sides, switches to there. Again, I have to come in. He comes to the other side. Watch this. Sneaky. He grabs the collar tie. All I do is I shrug my shoulder to my ear. Then he has no collar ties. I go there, boom, and I can go straight into an arm drag from there. Okay? So we have to learn how to deal with those collar ties as well. Okay? The best way to deal with them is maintain good posture, and these shrugs work a dream. See that? Look. Behind, you combine that with the arm, and sometimes you do that, you can't get it off. Okay, and that's in which case you come back here and you go this way.
Oh, it's not expecting the palm here. We really like.
Well, yeah, that works too. Okay, so we've got the collar ties, we've got the underhooks, we've got the wrist controls. Now we look at what's called arm drags. So the arm drag is a very common thing. If there is one technique in the range 4 that I think karate guys should work on, and that is the arm drag. Okay, that is hands down the most effective technique you can learn in terms of return on investment of anything. And look, we've run out of time. We've only got 10 or 15 minutes to go. We haven't even got to the ground, unfortunately.
It's gone so quick.
Yeah, it's gone so fast. But I hope you're getting something out of this. I'm trying to cram in as much as I can. So at least if you can go back, fine. But let me show you how we work the arm drag drill. Okay? So we simply do it like this. I'll get that at 45. And he puts his hand on my shoulder, and I do uchi-uke. That's all I'm doing. See this technique? Uchi-uke. Or it's actually shito uchi-uke. There's uchi-uke and there's shito uchi-uke. Someone asked me, why do you call it shito uchi-uke? It's haito. Well, we call it seiken uchi-uke, but we're not actually hitting with seiken. So the name of the technique is determined by the shape of the hand, not necessarily the part of the hand that hits. Remember, defense is what? It's not point, it's line. So the defense happens in the line from the elbow to the hand. So that's why even if it's shuto, but you're actually hitting with haito, well, maybe you're hitting here, maybe you're hitting there. It's not the point, it's the line there. So the technique comes, and I'm just working on that. Now watch what I do. If I go too close here, it's not as strong. Right now, he's just resting his hand. But if he was actually trying to come in and grab and I didn't extend, I'd have no strength. Okay, but from that, I've got to push out to break it. And that's the other thing too. If someone gets grips on you, don't muck around. Yes. If they get a grip on your leather jacket, your T-shirt, your gi, your whatever, you don't muck around. What I like to do in this situation is they've demonstrated their aggression. Now you can defend yourself. I hold it on and palm heel. And then, as far as you can, pull it off and then move into the arm drag. Yes. Okay? But you can't afford to hang around here because he's just going to pop you straight between the eyes with that horrible punch. Yes. Okay? So if you feel the grab, bang, straight away, that's your trigger. Yes. You heard that old mate likes to grab you, so he grabs you, boom, that's your trigger. You want him to grab you because you're triggered for it. Yes. Okay? Obviously, if you're a law enforcement officer or if you're in a situation where you're much stronger and bigger than the person, well, you don't want to be going and doing that. So what you can do in that circumstance is simply keep pushing the hand towards you, okay? Watch that hand. Bang. Cover, and now I'm going to pull that hand off my jacket. So if he grabs, look, I'm pulling here. There, like that. I get my hand around his wrist, and I move back 45 as he shoots his hand up 45. That's a really good way to get the hand off. And you can grapple with, wrestle with, because you do that, boom, you do that. And you don't want him to grab, boom, yes. You don't want him to grab you, don't want to let them get a hand on your gi. It's just absolutely not acceptable. You have that in your mind, that's your trigger. I washed this gi, I folded it, and he's got grubby hands, and I don't want him to touch it. So as we go, don't even let him touch it. That's your mindset. Do not let him touch your gi. If he gets it on, you've got to get it off as quick as you can. That's your mindset. Back to the arm drag. You care. This is first step. Do it on this side. You watch my hand. I don't simply do that. I do this. One, and extend the arm. Just drop your hand for a second. Look. One, and extend out. It's that bisecting of the line from his shoulder to his hand. That's everything. I'm not trying to cross the arm. I'm trying to bisect it. Okay, so he does that. Boom. I don't anticipate. He goes left, right, left, right, left, right. Then he screws me up. Oops, missed. I don't anticipate. I wait and feel and watch. So also I used to say, yoku mite. Watch very carefully, but don't anticipate, because as soon as you anticipate, it's all over. So I just... Okay? Next step. Come this side. One. I do that, and now I'm going to koken under his arm into the radial nerve. Okay? Hurts like nuts. And then I'm going to turn the hand over. There. So I don't have to koken, I can palm heel. There. The point is, I'm 1, 2, right under his armpit there. Okay? There is sometimes where it's better to grab at the elbow. It just depends what you're doing. If I grab at the elbow behind the tricep, sometimes it's harder for him to pull the hand. See that? I'm still connected to his hand even though he pulls it in. Okay? So he's there. 1, 2, and then I take it between us like a football, passing a football. Okay? Not a soccer ball, a football. 1, 2. Yes.
The body replacement theory says that I want to put him where I am to generate maximal force. So when I drag, I don't drag him over there, because if he stands solid on his stance, I will never do it if I'm trying to drag him over there. What I do is I drag him to me. So now if he's solid on his stance, I'll pull him straight into me and I'll just get out of the way at the last second. Watch, I'll put my hand there. We go 1, 2, I'll take a strong stance. If he tries to throw me over there, he's got 0 chance of getting control. Okay? So what he'll do, let's go this side so you can see. 1, 2, he pulls it, yeah, so he pulled me into him and then gets out of the way at the last second. That's what, and look where he is, straight out of Saiha. He pushes my lower back, oh! Then last move out of Saiha, and he cross faces. Okay, so the hand goes to my shoulder, 1, 2, that's a position. Wrist, arm, again. There. There. That's the drill. You don't even you have to do it much further than that for now. Okay, and when you extend it, you pull past nice and soft. You have compliance. This is a really good technique. You can even do it on the ground. Watch this. So I'm here on the ground. I'm here and I'm waiting to do something, and boom, there's the opportunity. I'm going to boom. And I pull and I capture him. And I take his back and I can choke. Straight off an arm drag. Okay, so effective at all ranges. Let me see what that comment is. Hey Kyle, what's mechanical levers talk, rotation? You sound like an engineer. My buddy Kartik, I have a friend Kartik who's quite an amazing, interesting man. And he said every single human being in the world should do 1 semester of engineering. And he said the whole world would be a different place because people would think more logically, I think. Okay, physical, emotional triggers, fundamentals from basics and cutaways, good on you. Kyle's a very experienced martial artist, so his points that he makes are very salient. Okay, so we're working on that arm drag. 1, 2. How do I defend against the arm drag? The arm drag is probably the number 1 80-20 technique you need to learn. Okay, so I go to grab him, or he finds a way to get the arm drag. Watch, there's 3 ways we work it. The first one is the limp arm, center elbow. I limp my arm, point my thumb towards my own belt, and my elbow lands on his tricep. And the harder and stronger his arm drag is, the more effective the technique. So he's there, he arm drags me. Boom. All I do is I drop my elbow into his solar plexus. That can be a real shock. Now remember, arm drags, we practice it off the shoulder, but you get it from there easily. Boom. See that? The arm drag is just there. Bang. Boom. Get the arm drag straight there every time. All right. So what I have to be ready for is a defense. Boom. And I drive my elbow into the solar plexus, and my thumb points towards my belt.
Yes.
That's the first. It's just a dead arm. It's not a cross up, down, anything. It's just let gravity take your hand to the ground. It's vertical, not here, not there. It's vertical, and the elbow is driving straight into the Yes, arm drag. Okay, the second one is a counter drag. So look at it very closely. When I arm drag Ben, look, it's 50-50. He has me, I have him. All he has to do is make an adjustment. The winner is the one who's a little bit quicker. The name of the game is make your technique happen before his defense. Okay, with the arm drag now, boom, he simultaneously drags me. So now he was ready for it, and he drags me, and he does a counter drag. Okay, so he drags me, well, my counter drag him. Okay, so I use the same technique against him. The third one is I accelerate the move. It's always like that, remember. When you get swept or taken to the ground, one of the best things you can do is continue and accelerate the move that they create, so that you can make the momentum continue. So now he arm drags me. Boom, I just continue on. I accelerate away so that he's not able to gain optimal control position on my back. There. I get all the way out of the way, okay, and don't give him an opportunity. So that's range 4. Remember, collar ties. He's going to counter collar, shrug, boom, yep, like that, but he'll shrug, wrist, arm, till he turns his head. If he pulls the arm off without turning the head, he'll literally knock himself out. Okay, so you turn the head out of the way. Boom. Underhook. He counter underhooks. Boom. I counter underhook. He counter underhooks. Boom. When we do this drill, we call it pummel. Actually, that must have looked really funny. It's like a Monty Python skit where you've got two guys going, yeah, come on, yeah. And then the next thing you know, they're going, oh, no. I reckon that would have been hilarious to watch. Okay, so that's the underhook. Counter gyakute, hand controls, releasing, getting control, maintaining control. He breaks out of it. Boom. Counter with arm drags. He counters back with the arm drag. You understand? That's range 4. All you need is a fundamental 80-20 of those techniques. How to deal with the underhook, how to deal with the collar tie, how to deal with the single leg, the double leg. Oh, we haven't done the, yes, we did. Single leg, double leg, and the arm drag and the 2-on-1.
We didn't do double.
We didn't do double or single? We don't have time, I'm sorry. What's the aim of the game here? The aim of the game is to take the game back to your strength. And if your strength is range 1 or 2 and you're caught in 3, 4, or 5, you're in big trouble. It's that simple. It's like Carlos Machado is a wonderful man, and he has a lot of online instructionals. I write his name. But he was actually my first, even though I didn't train with him long or much, because I was going to Los Angeles with my work. And the hotel I was staying at was literally right across the road from the Machado brothers, BJJ. And I was just getting started. It's about 94, 95. And I went and trained with Carlos Machado. And he said to me then, he says, you karate guys, you always have a stronger base. Now his English is perfect. That was 25 years ago. He said, I fight you. You have the one chance. You hit me. You punch me. You win the fight. All power to you. You miss the hit. You miss the punch. You miss the kick. 100% guarantee you lose the fight. You know, and that's amazing odds when you think about it. Aim of the game is to love the game because you're in it. Yeah, that's true. Oh. You've got to have that. That's true, Paddy. Okay, so he said, look, stand-up fighter. And I remember talking to guys when the BJJ, the UFC and all that was just starting. All the karate, they're all going, no, we have the answers. The answers. Someone comes in to grab me, I'm just going to punch them. Someone comes in to I'm just going to kick. It's like, yeah, that's a plan A. What's your plan B when it doesn't work? They don't have one. And like Carlos Machado said, if you hit me or if you punch me and knock me out, all power to you. That's plan A. He said, but if you miss the hit, miss the kick, it's 100% guaranteed that you will lose the fight. And that's very interesting. So ever since he said that to me in the dojo, we've worked on the what-if scenario. So, for example, when Ben did his third dan, he had to do 30 rounds, but also he spent about 45 minutes or...
It felt like forever. 45
minutes having to deal with a whole range of scenarios that arose, grabs, grapples, takedowns, things like this. So I think we've just got a few minutes. What I'm going to do is run through, give you an idea or an insight into how many mosquitoes we have around here. Look, I got it, Ben didn't.
Miyagi-san.
Yeah. There was 2 of them. The other one, I just snapped his legs off. Okay, so let's look at the ground. On the ground, we work on what we call fundamental shapes. Okay, and I mentioned them on Sunday. There's side control, knee ride, mount, kesagatame, north-south position, full guard, closed guard, open guard, half guard, turtle position, back control. 10 positions. Okay, and you can add on to that. I wrote them down. There's also, I've written turtle twice. That's why there's too many. There's also leg entanglement, which is a really, really interesting game, which you as a stand-up fighter virtually don't need to worry about. I'm quite serious about that. Because to make that work, all you need to do
is, yeah, good on you, Daniel. Thanks, man. All you need to do to avoid the leg entanglement is one simple rule. Don't let their head near your legs. Because what happens is they'll come in and they'll dive in and they'll swing around and tangle your leg and break your knee. It's that quick. But if you are half aware of that, all you do is you jam the head away so it can't get close to your head, to your legs. Okay, that's the first rule of leg entanglement. Well, we're just going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes. We've still got a little bit of time. If you're good for it, if you've got to go, like Daniel, that's fine. Let's go through very briefly because Ben has to get, what time you got to be at training?
5:30.
5:30. So he's got an hour and a half. So we're only going to spend maximum 10 minutes on this. So we're looking at survival shapes on the ground. Oh, good on you, Mike. Yeah, I'm so glad. What are your thoughts on managing the extended range that weapons like, well, I mean, in all my years, the only weapon I've seen people carry is once Mike Witt, one of my students, had a guy pull a gun on him. And the guy, it was the worst thing the guy ever did for himself. The other thing is knives. But bow, joe, tonfa, sai, all these sort of things, I think they're a lot of fun and they do connect you with one way or another to the movement, the traditional movement. But in reality, my personal opinion is I don't think they really help at all in terms of modern day society and self-defense. The time you spent on those techniques, there's only one weapon that you need in the street, and this is it. What is it, Ben?
A milk crate.
A milk crate. This has been my favorite weapon for 15 years. I've been telling people about it. Learn to use a milk crate and don't laugh. Why? Because whenever I go overseas, I'm constantly looking around and every country without fail I've ever been to has milk crates lying around on street corners, behind shops, down alleys. Okay? So the first thing you do is when you're aware of milk crates, you grab a milk crate. The second thing is what we're talking about here with Damien's comment about weapons is it gives you length. Well, if the guy's got a knife, he's got to get past that crate. Okay? The second thing is these things are made, they're rock hard. And they have holes all over them, so there's no wind resistance. You can swing this thing, you know, the faster you swing things, the more wind resistance. With these things, you have very little, if any, wind resistance. So if I swing it at someone's head, it's going to work. Okay, you jab, jab, jab. You control, you that knife, once it's in, you can disarm them with the knife. You can jab them in the face, you can hit with it. These will cut people to shreds if necessary. They're the best weapons in the world. I'm doing a whole video on how to use a milk crate for your self-defense. I think it's really, yes, and like Mike says, if you're surrounded by people who attack you with bows, joes, and swords, you need to think about moving. Okay, very quickly, let's run through.
What time period?
Yes.
What year is it?
And stop playing around with time machines. So, this is for Aaron, our buddy Aaron. Peace, Aaron. Hope you're watching. I kept it till the end just in case you can make it. If you can't, you can watch the review. Knee rides. One of the worst things in the world. If you don't know how to do with a knee ride, you will wish you were dying because they're horrible things. The knee ride, there's knee rides and knee rides. Stop. Down. Good. So that's a knee ride, which has zero effect on me. Because where's his weight? His weight is centered on that knee. First thing he does, he takes that knee off. And then he turns to that. So now the weight has increased by 200-300%. Now you see this angle. The more he straightens that angle, the more you can hear my voice starting to go because the weight's increasing. Okay? What's my survival shape? Off my back, on my side. First thing I do is I move, and this hand, we call it the spiral arm, like that. So I come here, and I spiral arm, and you see it knocks his knee off. Once again, I'm going to come around here. He puts the knee right on. I don't want to try and push here because it opens up that arm
an arm bar, and the next thing you know, he's arm barring me and all that. Okay, so I keep that elbow locked on. I was talking to a friend today, actually, Pete Devine, one of Australia's premier grappling coaches. And when Carlos Gracie Jr. came out to Australia, Pete Devine was his good buddy, and he sponsored him out and brought him on a tour in Australia. And I looked after the Queensland sector. That was about 94, and I can't remember when. But Pete Devine said something to me once that I never forgot. He said, if you araldite, if you glue your elbows to your body, you'll relieve yourself of 90% of the problem. So there's your 80-20 right there. The first rule that you need to remember when you grapple is don't let your elbows off the body. And that alone reduces a lot of pain. So knee right. Boom. I don't want to do this elbow. I spiral. Turn around. Says, look at my head. It's about there. Yeah, good. Watch this arm. I spiral down to the ground. Boom. His leg comes off. Okay, that's my survival position. Now, to take advantage of it, I need to reverse it. So now he has the knee ride. I'm feeling the pressure like that. I'm going to spiral and capture. See my hands on the inside of his knee now. All right, now I'm doing the rapid stand up. Boom, keep that leg and drive with my head. See what I did? I'll come the other side so you can see it better. So he's here now. There, see that? Spiral hand down, takes that knee off. I'm pulling his leg. Look what happens. I'm going to get it out of the way. Look what happens when I pull his leg. It straightens him out. The knee can't take that lateral movement. Okay, so I'm here, puts the knee right in, boom, spiral arm, take the knee, and I drive my head into his chest. Like that, and then now I'm on top. Okay? That's a fundamental escape from the knee ride. There are other ways. For example, I'm keeping my, let's come this side. Let's see. I'm keeping my elbows in. What I'm going to do is grab his heel and push his arm like that. See, now I have that, and I can push him over that way as well. So the point is you get off your back to relieve pressure and you move the knee off. Okay? I think out of all the positions, we're going to have to stop there, I think. We're running out of time. We may be able to do one more. No. Look, it's tempting to keep going. We've got another 10 or so positions to work on, but I don't have time. So I'll wind it up there and we'll have a little bit of chat. How's Ben? Ben's wondering how his hair looks. Mine. Yes, that's it. This is my whole focus right now, and I've written a whole section in my rewrite of the book, Clarence, and I've called it the Kyokushin Genesis. Ben and I are working together on creating videos for the new membership site. Patreon family will link those to you, so you'll get some that no one else gets as well. But the primary objective is to introduce you to the idea of survival shapes. So survival shapes in stand-up, defensive survival or defensive shapes in stand-up, survival positions on the ground. It's great to have Ben along. I don't get to see him as much because of the COVID-19. I think I've seen him on an average of maybe once a month for the last 3 months. And he's come to work with us. And I know you love having him, which I'm starting to get a little jealous. So, you know, next time I'm really going to see if he can wrestle. Oh, God. Okay. But Ben's a great help. He's looking after, I've got 2 dojos, one up here, one down the mountain. And 100% Ben is looking after that for the last 2 months or so. We've been going. And I'm up here at the mountain running extra classes to say thank you for all the people who kept their fees going. But that'll be winding up in the next week or 2, and I'll be heading back down again, 1 and then finally 2 and then maybe 3 days a week. So I hope you enjoyed that. That is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot of love to share when it comes to the ranges. We all know how to kick and punch, but if you get your shapes right, it makes a world of difference.
It's like I said that Gary O'Neill in his first nationals fought a guy named Mark Tyson. And if anyone's in Australia, you know Mark Tyson. He was one of my heroes. I tell you, man, in the 5th World Tournament, if I remember right, he won the award for the best knockout. I think the first 2 fights he had in the in the tournament were 10-second knockouts. He had this unbelievable step-up right roundhouse kick. Now, our approach is you're not going to beat a man at his own game. So all we taught him was to make sure that you have your coxcomb up. So Gary's fundamental default position was under the bridge, coxcomb. And we counted in that fight. This is Gary's fighting the current Australian champion, Mark. And Mark was so good, man. And he produced some great fighters, you know. But anyway, in the fight, we counted it through the extensions. I think we counted 6 times where Mark threw that knockout kick and Gary did not see it. And if he did, I didn't realize, but I don't think he saw it. But simply because his defensive shape was sound, the kick didn't penetrate. Okay? So the whole idea of defensive shapes is that you don't get sucked into the next move. You elicit responses by doing certain things. You fake low, they drop their hands low, you come high. But if your defensive shapes are in, they fake low, you don't fall for it. Okay, so we covered the defensive shapes for the stand-up, the eight fundamental punches, 8 fundamental kicks. And then we looked at the range 4. We worked on collar ties, underhooks, arm drags, wrist gyakute reversals, double legs, single legs. Okay, there's a whole body of knowledge right there. But if you work those fundamentals, you'll be miles ahead of the next bloke. Okay, and then we move in from there. We didn't even cover takedowns, but once you get to the ground, we work on 11 fundamental shapes. The leg entanglement for a stand-up fighter, you shouldn't have to worry about too much. You just don't let their head get near your legs. It's that simple. Just keep them away. If you want to sit on your backside and fight with a ground fighter, well, then you're a dill, because they'll always beat you, okay? If you want to fight a ground fighter, let him stay on the ground, you stay stand up and don't get caught.
Just get back up.
Yeah, and just keep getting back up.
Close.
Okay, we have these shapes. We didn't work them all today. We worked the knee ride. That's all we really did. You got knee ride, side control, mount, kesagatame, north-south, close guard, open guard, half guard, turtle position, and back control. I forgot that. Okay, so they're basically the positions which we'll be working on in future. Thank you. Found you on my lunch break. Good on you, Ken. Lunch now? Oh, yeah, it's in Tampa, Florida. Geez, it's a late lunch break. What time is it there? It must be like, you know, at least midnight. Is it midnight, 1 a.m., something like that? Plan, bore, see. I didn't realize that people don't use that. My mum used to call me, "Oh, Cam, you dill." And I just realized I used it, and now Mike's busting me for it. Good on you. Okay, thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Hopefully, Ben will be able to come again real soon. It's always great working with him. Yes, what a difference it makes when Ben comes. I know I'm old and grey, my eyes are dim, and there's only so much I can show you when I'm talking and not moving. But having Ben here, we got Raj. I didn't see you, Raj Kumar. Good to see you, man. I didn't know you were here. Raj is from Nepal. So we've got Nepal, India, Canada, Florida, USA, Leo in Colombia. Then we got South Africa, Tasmania, Queensland, Western Australia, Sweden, Norway, Germany. Wow, we got the whole globe covered. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much. And we'll see you on Friday for a reading. Os. Arigatou gozaimasu.